ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the recap and review of NCIS Season 10, Episode 24, Damned If You Do, also known as the Season 10 finale. What? This season flew by in the blink of an eye, and I'm rhyming again, so definitely my cue to begin. So we start off with Gibbs and Mike Franks in a boat. I love Mike Franks to the Earth and back. We are on Earth. I love Mike Franks to the moon and back. He's such a fantastic character, and I'm glad they keep reincarnating him, dream sequencing him, making Gibbs the Ghost Whisperer. I don't know, as long as he's back, I'm okay with it. So we get this kind of nice opening, and then all of a sudden it gets really dark, like in the blink of an eye. After Mike Franks shoots the water, suddenly dead bodies of, I'm assuming, of everyone he's killed, they start rising from the water, and his team is silently judging him from offshore. And then he awakens. So then we get Dick Parsons again. Yay! And so he's being all Parsony, and Gibbs is being all Gibbs. They're both stubborn and dedicated. They just have very different ways of going about situations. One comment he made that really disturbed me was that he was glad that the door was opened by Eli and Jackie's death. Like, who says that? Like, how cold do you have to be on the inside to make that kind of comment? Like, you are glad that people died so you could send a man to jail. It's not like he's this axe murderer going around and taking unnecessary lives. No, the ones he's killed had good reasoning behind them. Somewhat good reasoning. It was very cruel of him to make that sort of statement, and I don't know how he got away with that one. Tom Morrow makes a comment. Who names their child Tomorrow? Unless you're Annie or something, then okay. But he makes this comment that Gibbs is a trophy for Parsons to put out for display, and that is so true. Like, whoever catches Gibbs, like, and hangs Gibbs's antlers up on the wall, that's a pretty intense conquering you have just accomplished. I don't know if that would go over well. I think it would split. I think there would be a side that's like, yeah, you caught him, and there would be a side that's like rebelling against this system. Whenever Gibbs is involved with the law, things do not work out well, which is strange because he works for a federal agency. But we're not going to question it. We're going to move on. We meet good old AJ Jagwood, who is assuming the role of Gibbs' lawyer. Gibbs has actually been having decent luck with lawyers these past few years, I guess. He's met some pretty good ones, and AJ is fantastic. I did not know his character from Jag, but from what I'm seeing, I love him. And when he's asking Parsons for the cup of tea and totally knocking him down to size, that whole scene was just absolutely perfect. A+. Parsons is turning Abby into a homicidal maniac. The sweetest goth you'll ever meet is becoming sort of psychotic. She has all these killing games with Parsons, and they're pretty intense. So Abby's playing these intense gun games, and Ducky comes in, and he's super chipper this episode. My god, I love Ducky this episode. He's like, you know, you might want to keep it down because the walls have ears. This guy is crazy. He's always like 15 steps ahead of them. Like, Denoso bugs him, he bugs the entire NCIS building. Like, how is that possible? Parsons is like a magician. An evil wizard, that is what Parsons is. I've just come to that conclusion. Parsons is an evil wizard. Yeah. Gibbs and AJ want to talk at Gibbs' place, but then they realize it's not safe, so they go to this cabin he built in the woods. Please tell me that's not what he was building in his basement, because that is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. I mean, a boat is one thing, but carrying an entire log cabin out of your home is a bit not possible. I mean, it's an intense cabin. Gibbs is amazing. Like, his hands are just, he can build wonders. I hope he did woodshop in high school. He would have aced it. Somehow, there is a case in this episode. Why is there a case in this episode? I thought this was the finale. So we find out it's just ahead. I guess now they're ahead of the game. So then they're back at autopsy, and Ducky and Jimmy are talking, and it turns out Jimmy and Brina are adopting a baby, and that warms my heart to its very core, and it makes me so happy because I can't wait to see them as parents, and I can't wait to see the storyline, and oh, I am so excited. This is something I am definitely looking forward to in season 11. Can you imagine a little child running around the NCIS building? I can't even. I'm gonna start squealing and shrieking, so I think we best move forward to the fact that the head is radioactive. Then we get another flashback with Gibbs and Mike, and this one is even more disturbing. They're talking about strip clubs and hunting in woods. Gibbs is shooting, and all of a sudden a bloody Vance pops up, and it's Vance from Shabbat Shalom, and he's going, "My wife is dead, Gibbs, my wife is dead," and it's really heartbreaking to see what goes on in Gibbs's mind. Like, does he feel he's responsible for this? Is he paranoid? Gibbs's mind is actually kind of terrifying. Then we get the elevator scene between Parsons and Ziva, which... how do I describe this? How do I describe my feelings in this scene? Anger? Hatred? Complete and absolute loathing? That sounds pretty accurate. That was the most insolent, moronic, pompous thing. He's so full of himself. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised his head fit in that elevator. He talks about Ziva's father dying. He talks about Gibbs falling. Her face in this scene, her expressions just convey every emotion. It could not have been done better because it made me really angry at Parsons and sympathetic towards Ziva. To do this right now was not a good idea in any sense, and he just assumes his role and does it. I think this scene was just a great telling of his character. Also, how in the world does everyone suddenly seem to know she killed Ari? I thought this was a secret. I thought it was only her, Gibbs, and Ari. I did not know Bodner and Parsons were watching from the sidelines. So how is this all coming out? Like, what happened to release all of this information into the atmosphere? We get a scene between AJ and Gibbs has no regrets, and he's axing some woods. Maybe he really is an axe murderer? Plot twist. McGee and Delilah are a thing. McLila, if you will. I love Tony and Ziva's reaction. I love when Ziva put her head down on McGee's shoulder, and I loved how proud Denozo was and the little smirk on Timmy's face. I love their friendship so much. And then Ziva smacks Tony's butt, and we've progressed to a new scene. But transitions. Yes. Denozo's been giving a lot of forehead kisses this episode. I'm liking it. I like that little treat he has now. The scene between Vance and Parsons. The sass was too much for me. I love Vance. You go, you get him. Giving you the Vance nod, the go-ahead of approval. That was awesome. We also find out that Bodner didn't kill Casmi. Not only that, but we find out the CIA did it. Well, that complicates things, doesn't it now? Then there's also that fantastic scene between Tony and Ziva, and this was not friend zoning. Friend zoning would have been them saying, yeah, I'm so glad we're just friends. Let's just remain just friends. I'm so glad that our friendship is just a friendship. That was not what was said. He comforted her and he kissed her on the forehead. And that song that plays in the background all the time is absolutely amazing. And I'm confused. I think it's Tony's theme. We always hear it whenever his mother is talked about, so I'm assuming that it's his. No matter whose theme it is, I'm loving it. It's such a perfect score. Absolutely amazing. I felt the more they began talking about how awkward it was the more awkward it got. The forehead kiss, it was like him saying, like, yes, I know this is not awkward, now let me give you my lips to show you how not awkward this can be. Isn't our friendship great? Here are my lips for you to have. I felt like the last 5 seconds of the scene was just kind of awkward, like they're giving each other these sheepish smiles, and I don't know what to think of the last bit, but overall the scene was very nice, very emotional, and I love that Ziva stepped up and apologize without being prompted like she had to do after the Aaliyah incident. She just went on her own. She was so mature about it, and it shows how much she cares about Tony. I thought it was very appropriate for the situation. They didn't push it too far and they didn't ignore it. They kept it right where it should be. I also like how Ziva refers to the NCIS team as her family. That hurt my heart a little bit, and it was so perfect. Gibbs is not playing by Parsons' rules, and he certainly follows through on that. Turns out Gibbs is pardoned because now he's going on the mission thing. Gibbs is now pardoned from Parsons. Not only that, but the team goes upstairs and hands in their badges. Tony, McGee, and Ziva have all officially resigned. And I love the voiceover of Mike Franks in the background and how it's telling your kids not to be afraid. Then we jump to 4 months later. What? 4 months later, I have no idea what's going on. Gibbs is in some mission and he's trying to save some guy, and then he goes to his sniper and shoots a guy, and we're like, who is this guy, female, that he's trying to shoot? And then the camera pans up and it's Fornell. It is Tobias Fornell. And then it blacks out and there's a gunshot, and then we have no idea what happened, and we won't know until September. I don't think he killed Fornell. I think it's all part of some plan and they're using Fornell as a decoy, or I highly doubt it's what it seems. 4 months is a long time in NCIS time. So I'm very, very intrigued to see what we missed. I'm interested to see what jobs they have now, if they got new jobs, and I want to see where Tony and Ziva are. Part of me is like, well, you know, maybe they had a movie and I doubt anything happened. The other part of me is like, I bet they eloped, bought a house, adopted 4 kids, and have a black lab by now. So, you know, there's the two extremes. But I'm assuming we're somewhere in the middle. I would hope they made some progress, and I believe it was Gary Glasberg that stated that the entire premiere would be us playing catch up to what we missed over those 4 months. So we will get to see it, and that makes me so excited because I want to understand more. I want to see more of McLila. Maybe that's a thing that prospered. Maybe it was a one-night stand, but it is beautiful Delilah, so we shall see. I think the only issue that I had with the whole season 10 finale arc was that it was so different, and I like the unexpected plot twist, not to this degree. This whole time, ever since Shabbat Shalom, it was expected that the whole finale arc would be Ziva getting revenge and then getting in trouble for it, and whatever consequences came along with that. That was what we assumed it was going to be, and then they changed it at the very last possible moment. Very last possible time it could have been changed is when they changed it. It was like we were on this road, and then we made this sudden left turn, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, am I still looking at the right map? What trail are we following anymore? I'm not saying I disliked it, I'm just saying that I was expecting like a Ziva finale, but we got a Gibbs finale, which I don't dislike. Do not misunderstand me. I very much like this. I was just expecting something different, and I just had to get used to it very quickly, but I thought it was very well done, and I'm glad that they did it. Awesome finale. I cannot wait until September. We still have 18 weeks of hiatus left. Group sigh. I'm going to be continuing making videos over the summer, maybe a video a week, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. We shall see. This is not going to be a suddenly dormant channel. I have video ideas and you guys left me suggestions, which I love you for. Thank you. And so if you have any more, leave them in the comments below and give me your opinions on the finale. I can't wait to hear them, and I will see you guys again soon.